Well, let me introduce Bob. Bob is a professor emeritus from New England Conservatory. He is a part of our leadership team and has made some great contributions to what we've been doing. And he has been given the extreme honor of opening today's conference.
Hi, welcome. My name is Bob Labaree. I'm speaking to you from Brookline, Massachusetts. We're going to ask that everybody, anytime you're writing a chat or a question, and anytime you speak, it's always very useful if you would say where you are at that moment. I think this in itself is an inspiring bit of Blessed Unrest when we see the spread of distribution of people and participating here. I'm part of the planning committee for this conference, Blessed Unrest, Growing a Future for Life on Earth, which is being presented here by Biodiversity for a Livable Climate. As everybody probably knows by now, this conference began as a normal conference. You may remember it back in the pre-COVID days when people would come from many areas of a country and to one place for a weekend, sit closer than 6 feet from each other without masks, talk intensely, and share food and drink. There was usually a lot of handshaking, backslapping, and hugging involved. Now that that's behind us for the time being, we've come to embrace this new format, and this conference is now 6 4-hour sessions on successive weekends beginning at 10:30 East Coast time. From here on out, they'll all be on Saturdays. This is in sessions 1 to 3 of Blessed Unrest. Speakers spoke to us from Mexico, from Haiti, from Zimbabwe, as well as from Massachusetts, North Carolina, California. I'm hearing, and somebody needs to unmute to mute themselves. I've suddenly got something on the screen here that's somebody has shared. I don't know where it came from. Sessions 1 through 3 of Blessed Unrest, the speakers spoke from all these different places, but today, as it happens, the speakers are all 3 segments of our program are based in northeastern United States, although as you'll see, it's more complicated than that because their work is, in the end, unavoidably global. In previous weekends, we've heard about regeneration agriculture in a wide variety of local practices. We've heard about the approach of faith traditions to nature and planetary husbandry. And we've heard about the Mexican ecosystem restoration camps via Organica. These are just some examples. As we have done in the first 3 sessions of the 6-part series, today there will be 3 segments of speakers and panels. And so let me give you a quick overview of today's program. At 10:45, we'll hear from Florence Reed on love of nature in the time of COVID-19. Flo is founder and director of Sustainable Harvest International, which since the 1990s has been working in rural communities in Central America on sustainable farming and forestry management practices. And she will be speaking today from her home, I believe, in Maine. This will be followed by question and answer period. And then at 11:30, we have the second stage of our faith panel, How Faith Brings Blessed Unrest. 2 weeks ago, the faith panel consisted of Rabbi Ellen Bernstein and Hayat Imam, who were representing for us the Jewish and Muslim perspectives on environmental stewardship. The theme today is the necessity of the divine feminine in the climate crisis. And we'll be hearing from 2 people, Rev Dele in the panel and Lama Elizabeth Monson. Rev Dele is a minister affiliated with both the Baptist and the United Church of Christ denominations, and she is a founder of Nature's Friends, a faith-based permaculture institute dedicated to training Earth first responders in vulnerable communities. And she will be speaking to us today from her home in New York State. Lama Elizabeth Monson is the spiritual co-director and managing teacher of the Natural Dharma Fellowship based in Springfield, New Hampshire. She's been studying, practicing, and teaching Tibetan Buddhism in the Kagyu lineage for close to 3 decades. She speaks to us today from her home in New Hampshire. At 12:15, we'll take a quick lunch break. This is the time when you can devote to purelling your hands or cleaning, refilling your Clorox spray bottle or putting cookies in the oven. Maybe you'll make yourself some lunch, but come back quickly. So at 12:30, we can begin the 3rd session, which is features the youngest presenters in this whole 6-part conference. Bio for Climate's staff scientist, Jim Laurie, will lead a group of 5 students in his homeschool class on the science of planet regeneration, which since mid-March has been studying, of course, remotely. They will be speaking to us from different locations around the Boston area. Their topic today is biodiversity can cool the planet. How can human beings participate and enable that process? This, I might say, is a session which is might be of special interest to all of those who have been hearing from your own children or students about their growing anxieties about the future. Finally, at 1:30, we turn to workshops. And let me say, first of all, that one anticipated workshop had to be canceled today. That was by Holly Parr. She is from the community-led movement for forests and climate and justice in the southern United States. She spoke to us 2 weeks ago, but her community collaborators who were going to be in this workshop with her are a bit preoccupied with COVID at the moment, as you might understand. So our wishes go with her and her community, and we hope to hear from her again. The 3 workshops we do have are being led by the 3 people or groups of people that spoke today. Workshop 1 will be Flo Reed, joined by Roland Bunch of the Center for Regenerative Agriculture. He spoke to us 2 weeks ago. Workshop 2 is with Jim Laurie and the homeschoolers, and workshop 3 would be with Rev Dele and Lama Elizabeth Monson, part of our faith panel. Please consult the conference program on the Bio for Climate website to see what is ahead. In sessions 5 and 6 in the coming 2 Saturdays, we're going to hear reports of work being done to soak up the rain, for example, what we can do to reduce drought, floods, heat waves, and severe storms. We'll hear about what is being done in cities, urban farming projects among youth, and an architect's view, that is Bio for Climate's own Christopher King, on how the heat of cities contributes to global warming. And we'll hear about the often dangerous ecological resistance movement in Liberia and about the rapidly growing global warming resistance movement of people under 30. Somebody needs to mute, please. This range of topics is what brings people like me to the work of Biodiversity for a Livable Climate. Like so many people in the Bio for Climate circle here and around the world, I come from a profession outside the life sciences. For 35 years, I taught in a music conservatory here in Boston as a scholar and performer. As an ethnomusicologist, I was continually asking, publicly and privately, where the human arts fit into the larger forces at work in society. In the last 20 years, under the influence of expanding environmental activism we're all familiar with, and the less well-known exploding literature of scientific research, that question has merged effortlessly with the question of where music, the sound art of the species, which has come to dominate the planetary habitat, fits into the larger trends in nature. Music and the value we all place on it derives its value from the habitat which surrounds it, with which it has symbiotic relationship. I'm now feeling that the habitat is as much natural and microbial as it is social. These are issues which I'm still puzzling even as I work with Bio4Climate, which I would describe as a bunch of passionately self-educating climate activists drunk with science. This is not the science which offers up a technological fix du jour, which promises to be the magic bullet that solves our problems so that we do not have to think further about our own systemic relationship to nature. Both our responsibility for planetary damage over 10,000 years and our capacity for altering, ameliorating, even transforming that damage now and in the near future. So today we have sustainable architecture, faith traditions on the responsibilities of nature stewardship, and the scientific work of high school students toward a realistic vision of planet regeneration. All of these are part of what Paul Hawken has called Blessed Unrest, humanity's immune response to ecological degradation. How about that? Is this, in this period when we have witnessed how effective the viral transmission of disease can be, likening an environmental mass movement to a microbial community is a compliment. Perhaps a compliment we haven't yet lived up to.